Dripping paint, dripping paint. There ain't no stains on me. Dripping paint, dripping paint. There ain't no stains on me. Dripping paint, dripping paint. There ain't no stains on me. Fresh and clean, fresh and clean. Rocking my creative jeans.
Like, as a father, like, man, did I give him enough?
Right.
You know what I mean? Did I give him enough to make it? You know, what you think about that?
That's just I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a slippery slope, per se, but yeah, as black males, yeah, we are always gonna question if what we're doing is enough, because as parents, all of us want to do better for our kids than what our parents did for us, whether if we had a good childhood or a bad childhood. Like, I know for me, my childhood was pretty good, actually. So, like, I say I want better for my son, but I want better for him as an aspect of I want to leave behind things that's going to put him ahead of the curve to where he's not behind the 8 ball like I was when I got here. Like, I want my child to start in a further a further position than I would start it in. I don't want him to start exactly where I was.
Right.
So, like, that's my thing. Like, some of us frown upon generational wealth for some reason. Like, oh, your parents helped you get that. Like, so what? Like, that's how it's supposed to be. Your parents are supposed to help you get further along in life to where you can elevate and further yourself after that. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's why we're behind, because as a collective, I'm not going to say all, but as a majority of us are already behind the 8 ball. So now we playing catch up, which we've been playing catch up for years.
Right.
But basically just some of us think, oh, if I buy my kid the new Jordans and buy them all the nice clothes and shoes, that's putting them ahead. And it's like, it's not really, because those shoes and clothes aren't setting them up for success later on down the line. Like, that's not a life insurance policy to where if you pass away, oh, he gets $100 million or whatever the case may be, to where he could use that to start this business over here or to invest in stocks and bonds over here or whatever the case may be. Like, that's just my logic on that specific aspect of it. But yes, I do question myself a lot as a dad, because I'm a father to a 2-year-old, and his mom claims that I'm too hard on him, which I probably am. But in my logic to that is, I'm hard on him because this world is going to be hard on him.
You ain't never lied. You know what? And that's something that I noticed too in the black community. It's this idea that you can do too much for your child or you spoil them. You know what I mean? And you brought up a good point that in other cultures it's okay to set your child up for success.
Right.
You know, whether it's helping them learn about finances, or helping them build credit, or even if you do get them nice things, but to show them how to obtain those nice things. That's just something that in our community we don't always set our children up for that. We believe that the struggle builds character, or and I'm like, I don't see any other cultures building anything but wealth. We're building character. Other cultures are building wealth. Exactly. And you kind of question which parenting is the best style. And I also noticed that for people of color, you're not leaving anything behind. Where other cultures, they might buy houses. Well, maybe not other cultures. White people. let's keep it straight.
It's really more other cultures. It's more than just them.
They leave in houses. You know what I mean? They leave in property, things of value that pass on.
I'm sure the Indians and whatnot are doing that too. The ones that are not on reservations, I guess, or on reservations.
There are other cultures, but we're going to go with the stereotypical. We're going with the stereotypical, like, what in America, what you expect. You know what I mean?
Every other race would be doing that with us. I mean, at least that's what I expect.
And I can't say that all of us don't do it, but when I just look at my family in particular, so I guess we'll do that. There's not a lot of property or a lot of things of value being left behind for the next generation, other than knowledge, which knowledge is cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you had property that was passed down from generation to generation, you have a little more power, a little more say so, instead of renting and making other people rich by investing in other people's property. So that's just one thing that I noticed as well. But do you think, is there a society, is there a standard where you can say, check a box and say, this is what makes a good father?
I don't think there really is, because again, everybody's definition of a good father is totally different. Like, I don't think there's a specific box you can check, because let's say, for example, oh, he provides a roof over his head, but he never spends time with him.
True.
Like, so there's
True.
like a plus and a negative to everything. Like, there's really no way to be a perfect father, but there is a way to be a good dad. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, to be a good dad, you just really gotta balance parenthood, your life, and your time and effort, basically. Like, if you can balance pretty much, not just realistically, just balancing life, like everything that comes with life and being a parent, and still keeping a positive mindset and still positively being in your child's life and still providing for them and teaching them life lessons along the way and guiding them through life as much as you can. I feel like that's all you really can ask for. I mean, like me personally, with my dad, like he wasn't rich or anything like that, but like I learned a lot of life lessons from my interactions with him and just watching him, because what we don't realize is, as dads and parents in general, our kids are watching us grow as well.
Yeah. Yeah, facts.
So like, basically, whether you a first time parent or not, like, that child you're watching that child grow, but that child is watching you grow. So your child is watching your every move. And I try to be very aware of that with my son, like, because I understand that, like, I may think he's not paying attention to me, but he does. Because then he starts doing stuff that I do sometimes, and I'm like,
yeah,
you actually do pay attention, all right.
like,
so, like, I try to make sure stuff that I do around him or that he sees me do is very positive. So, like, me being an artist and painting, like, he sees that, so he likes to do those things. Granted, he just makes a mess, but,
but
he likes to do it, so I let him do it.
Absolutely. You know, and it's this whole notion of success. That's, you know, it's kind of the same thing with success, right? I mean, it's how do you measure success and how do you measure greatness? As you may know, the Super Bowl is coming up. Or maybe when you see this, maybe it already happened. You know, who knows? Depends brothers gotta work. You know, but but you know, so you got Tom Brady, you got Pat Mahomes competing in the Super Bowl this year, and of course Tom Brady, they're gonna say he's the greatest ever, right?
Yeah.
But see, what defines greatness? You know, what characteristics do we find great? Because it was kind of the same thing with father, right? What makes a father great? What makes them good? Well, we're athletes. What makes them good? What's the criteria that we have? You know, is it the swag? You know, is it the accomplishments? Is it the obstacles that they overcome to get to the accomplishments? What exactly makes them great, and how does that apply to Tom Brady?
Depends on who you ask, because when it depends on the athlete, when it's certain athletes, certain criteria start to matter more than others. Like for Tom Brady, he's got what, 5, 6 rings?
Too many to count. He's winning every other year. You know?
I mean, right. So there's that. But then if you like looking for example, if it's like a Dan Marino, then people are like, you know, he led the Dolphins to the but he ain't got no championship ring though. But he's still in the Hall of Fame. So now it's like. It's just a gray area, because even if you look at basketball players, Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing, they don't have rings, but they in the Hall of Fame. But then you got somebody like Robert Horry that done got 5 or 6. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it just depends on who it is. Like, if you say, LeBron had to go through all those Warrior teams with 3 All-Stars, and then you'd be like Jordan. Well, Jordan didn't have anybody in the East and all in the West and all this stuff. It's like, it just varies on the athlete and the media. Like, the media basically controls that whole situation, just like in a sense with fathers. Boy. The mother basically is the media, because they control every aspect of what people perceive the father to be.
You know, I would say the mother, the media. You know, let's get back to the fatherhood. The mother, the media, art, music, kind of determines, helps create a perception of what certain type of fathers are.
Yeah.
You know, so if you go watch movies and you look at like white families and things, normally the father is the head of the household. He has a job. He goes to work. Maybe he works too much. Maybe that's his fault. He works too much. And then the typical black family, maybe the mom is doing it by herself, or maybe the dad is out cheating and doing something else. I mean, there's some instances where the father's a good father, but there's a lot of instances where the father's no good, or maybe he is there, but he's hustling, trying to make a way.
Right.
So that sticks in your head. And rap music really carves out. Even those guys are not fathers. Look, those guys are not even fathers, but you're just grouped all in together, and they're like, you guys are doing it to yourselves. You're out here thugging, and they'll listen to the music, and then they'll point to Chicago. Well, Chicago, Chicago's not even the murder capital in the United States of America, but that's a whole different conversation. But they'll point to Chicago. One guy told me, a white guy, this is over social media, it's like, why you want racial inequality? You guys are killing each other. Like, you're going to have to do something in Chicago. And I said, you want me to do the police job for him? As a black man, you want me to do the police job for him? It sounds like a policing problem. Oh, blame everything on the police and don't take responsibility. I don't live in Chicago. Why am I taking responsibility for what somebody else is doing in Chicago? I'm not paid to protect and serve either.
Right.
And you got to remember, those so-called thugs in Chicago, they have a better moral code than the people in our government.
So Kaepernick, he took a knee so you could uncomfortably see what we see. It's real out here, getting killed out here. We need to chill, yeah. It's getting real out here, getting killed out here. We need to chill, yeah. So what we gonna do? It's up to me and you. We gotta quit playing games. It's not political.